Welcome, Tropical Pet family. I am Kieran B. Turville, and it's my pleasure being here with you once again. This is Tropical Pet, the home of Caribbean culture, where we bring the culture to you. And this month is a special month for us. As you know, June in these spots set aside as Caribbean American Heritage Month. So we celebrate the culture, we celebrate all things Caribbean. We try to get the culture out there, we try to make people aware of what we are doing. And as part of the celebration, what we are doing here today is an annual presentation. We target authors connecting, where we bring authors from around the globe, from around the Caribbean, persons doing great things, doing their part to sort of spread the culture, especially persons based in North America. But we include everyone. So we started out with one of our musical directors, Ashley, and she had Professor Aguilar Johnson, and they discussed steel pan, the history of the pan. Great book. So this is leg 2. So we are happy that you are with us. If you joined us for the first installment, we are glad that you're here for the second. The third is set to happen on June the 8th, and we are going to have renowned chef Nadej Florimont, and she will be interviewed by another team member, Miss Gayleen Orange. So we hope that you stay with us. But right now, I need you guys to lock it in. Call a friend, text someone. We are live on Facebook, we are live on Instagram, all your portals, we are there. Or you can go directly to our page, www.tropicalpet.com, and you can join us. I promise you won't regret it. It's going to be an exciting presentation. I think we're ready, engineer? So as I said, we're here, we are celebrating Caribbean American Heritage Month. And at Tropical Pet, we do nothing small. We go big. If we are going to do it, we are going to do it right. And tonight is no different. If I gave you a title of one of his songs, automatically you'll know who it is. But I'll save that popular title last. He is a performer, a legendary performer. He's had bands and they've traveled the world globally, spreading the culture. He's a songwriter, one of the best songwriters. He's a Caribbean performer. He is of the Caribbean. He is from the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, to be exact. So he's Trinidadian, but he is ours. He belongs to the Caribbean. He is from that region, but he's an international superstar. He's an author. He writes his own songs. He writes for others. He is a soca singer. And when you say that man can sing, he's a soca singer. He's one of the originators. So what the young guys are doing today, he's one of the originators. When you talk about front man for bands back in the day, he's an originator. Because when he was in front of a band, or when he sang with a band, like we say in the Caribbean, the man just mash up the place. But now, he's added another title to his long list of accomplishments. He is the author. He is an author. And he is the man who let the dogs out of the gate. I don't know if you want to rock somewhere, but when we say or we ask the question, who let the dogs out, he would have the answer. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure. It gives the entire Tropical family, the circle, great pleasure to present to you renowned international superstar, Mr. Anselm Douglas. Anselm,
Wow, that was,
welcome.
thank you. That was a great bring on, man. That was a great
Well,
bring on.
well deserved.
Thank you,
And
thank
I know
you.
that there's a whole lot more that we have to add to the list, but these things we're discovering recently. So the fish broth, that's coming down. Because now we might have to bring you back as a chef.
Okay, all right.
So
Thank
how have
you.
you been? How did you survive the pandemic? How are you surviving the pandemic? How's the family, first of all?
Well, first of all, first let me start by saying thank you for having me on this show. I was looking forward to this for close to a month or maybe even more, So I am thankful for that. When it comes to the pandemic, man, it's like a pandemic on top of a pandemic because, we have a combination of science mixed with all sorts of information coming from everywhere. So
Right.
it's so confusing. It becomes so confusing for the average Joe out there,
Mhm.
you know. But with respect in regards to the pandemic, I was always a homeboy. I was always at home. So it
Mhm.
didn't really affect me that much. I feel it for those people who staying at home and with their kids and work, and it's a rough time. And none of us, no, I don't think anybody who's alive now ever experienced anything close to this.
Exactly.
So this is a new experience for the entire world at the same time. But there were good sides to the pandemic where families got to reunite,
Right.
and people start to realize once again what is really significant and what is really of importance.
Importance,
You
yes.
know, praying together with your family, sitting at the dinner table and eating, watching TV together, the little things, brought families together. So, but I'm coping, I'm dealing with it, and hopefully, maybe by the end of the year, you know, and I hope that is not wishful thinking, but by the end of the year, we could come back to some form of normalcy, you know.
That's the hope. Now, I besides music and song,
Mhm.
let's just talk the past 30 years. Have you done anything else but music? When I say
Um,
in terms of a career, a job,
no, no. I have
exactly.
been I have been full time on stage for 30 years, 31 years, or something like that. And prior to that, I was always on stage, but I had another job. But 30 years, 100% music, writing it, recording it, performing it, sleeping it, eating it. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
Now, since we're on the pandemic, performing for 30 years and just being out there, I don't think in 30 years from the time I can speak personally, I heard of Anselm Douglas. I've watched Anselm Douglas perform. The name Anselm Douglas has never been out of the spotlight. So for
No.
the pandemic to hit for somebody who's been doing this alone for 30 years, what changes did you as a performer, as an artist, have to make in order to survive the pandemic and still make a living? You have a home, you have responsibilities, I am sure. What changes and how did you have to tweak what you were used to?
Well, from a financial standpoint, I think every individual been affected, every one of us, Even though some people made a lot of money in the pandemic, it was actually financially feasible for them, for some people.
Mhm.
Um, Outside of that, that is not the norms. Outside of that, everybody had to, as we say in the Caribbean, band the belly, you
Right.
know, cut and contrive and make a little go a long way. I had to do it. All the other entertainers had to do it. But with the grace of God, you'll survive. And I survived. And what I did too, to maintain my sanity, because now I'm not on stage, and stage is not only for me about making a living.
Right.
Stage is part of who I am. So a big chunk of me been removed, and now what do you do with that vacuum? So I just started doing more writing. You know, a lot more writing. I've just been writing songs, writing books. Just been at it. Just been working keeping my mind focused. The only thing I really wanted to do during this pandemic, when I had the time and I didn't do it,
Right.
is to become as fit as I could, and I didn't do it. To do a lot of exercise, but I didn't do it. I think I failed miserably because we all put on some pandemic size, and
Exactly.
so I am just one of them too. But that's how I survived.
And
Day
now
by day.
the pandemic pounds, that story is universal. So I don't feel too bad. We all fall into it. Right. Now,
Right.
the reason you are here tonight and what brought you to us is
Mhm.
your recent publication, The Adventures of Spin and Scratch, the Relocation. Tell us,
Right.
tell us about the concept for the book. Let's just start with the concept for the book.
Okay. I think The Adventures of Spin and Scratch is a very, very familiar story, especially to Caribbean people. Very familiar. What happened? It's about this woman who, at a very tender age, young in her 20s, early 20s, came to North America on a work visa.
Mhm.
She came as a nanny to work for a very affluent family.
Right.
And she raised their kids, and she became part of their family to end up raising their grandkids too. And the years went on, and she never went back home. But she had her own home in Brooklyn, New York.
Mhm.
But you know the familiar story. You work hard, you save your money, you build a nice home back in the Caribbean. So when you get to that age of retirement, you go back home.
Yes.
So she meaning Auntie Ruby, who's a character in the book.
Right.
Auntie Ruby is now relating to her next door neighbor and friend for years and years, that she has gotten to this age of retirement and she's looking to go back home to her native land to live out the rest of her years, see her family, because it's close to 40 years she hasn't gone home.
Right.
And that being said, she's relating this story to her next door neighbor, but unknowing to her, there is this family of mice living in the walls of her Brooklyn apartment.
Right.
And the mother mouse overheard that conversation and went into a state of panic. And because now she had to go and talk to her two sons, Spin and Scratch, and explain to them that Auntie Ruby is moving back to Trinidad. And with her gone, she don't know how she's going to feed them. So, Mother Mouse came up with this master plan to ship her two sons, her only two sons, with Auntie Ruby to Trinidad. So when the time came for Auntie Ruby to travel, she hid them in the toe portion of one of Auntie Ruby's shoes. And lo and behold, these two American mice end up in Trinidad, and the adventure began.
Right. Now, I am reading the book, and like you just said, I think any Caribbean person could relate to that story because a lot of the characters, especially if you migrated from the Caribbean to the United States, everybody knows somebody just like one of the characters. I think everybody knows Miss Ruby.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the neighbor who sort of clung to Miss Ruby because she was older.
Right.
What I found interesting at the start of the book, you sort of name the characters and give us a bit of insight into who they are, their sort of their mannerisms, the manner in which they behave, and it made the story much easier to comprehend. But what I found myself doing while reading the story, I am reading, but in my mind, I'm trying to figure out who do I know is just like the character in the book. And there was a character, and I'm like, my God, there's a musician. I'm sure you might know him, Mitch, the trumpeter in Brooklyn.
Of course, I know Mitch. Yes.
And I'm saying, my God, that guy's Mitch. And I'm saying,
so who's Mitch? Who's Mitch? Who's Mitch? Who's Mitch? Which character you?
Who do you think?
No,
which character do you think is Mitch?
I'm thinking it must be one of the local mice. One of the local. Wouldn't be Juice? No, it wouldn't be Juice.
No, to me it's Stoops.
Stoops?
Yes.
No, man, no, that's my friend Mitch. Not my friend Mitch. Not my friend Mitch. Mitch can't be Stoops, man. Mitch is a good boy.
I love
Which is
it.
a
But
good
it's
one.
fun. But to me, that was the fun in reading the book. We all know a character just like
Like,
the one in the book. I think
yeah,
everybody knows a BB.
Big Ben,
Everybody,
BB.
yes, everybody knows
Yeah,
one, whether he's that Caribbean
yeah,
guy in Brooklyn that you know, or the
yeah,
person back home who's the neighbor that the entire neighborhood knows.
yeah. The
Now,
helpful guy, the helpful
right,
guy.
was it deliberate on your part to sort of develop those characters that way for us to sort of get it by just reading the line?
Actually, in all honesty, what you say there is so factual because BB is a character that I pulled from my Uncle Clement. My Uncle Clement is that guy. You know, you want him to weld something for you, he has a welding plan and he will come and do it. You want him to fix a cupboard, you want him to fix something on your roof, he's just Uncle Clement is just Uncle BB.
Mhm.
You know, but of course I made changes because my uncle doesn't have a beard. So I created different things, but you know, I had individuals in my head that I strategically placed, you know. That's why you could now identify some of the characters with somebody you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that would have been my next question. What percentage of the book or the characters are based on persons that you know?
Hmm. Um, I would say about 60%. About 60% of people, even some of the mice,
Mhm.
they're people that I know, and I just turn them into a mouse, turn them
Right,
into a mouse, you know.
right.
Um, so they're like Ringo.
Mhm.
Just they're people that I know, just like Ringo, strong, loyal, reliable, no nonsense, you know, but good heart, you know, good heart.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are people like Spin, who is a really cool guy who, you know, everybody likes.
Right.
He's a good friend. He's faithful. He's hardworking. He's a sticker for detail, you know. So I would think
Now,
about 60%. Yeah.
okay, okay. Because as I was reading it, I'm like, I can relate to so many of the characters and so many of the developments. For example, the two mice landing in Trinidad. If
Yeah.
you're reading the story, it's the story of two mice based in Brooklyn, but now they're relocating to Trinidad. But that same story, that's the story of so many children of Caribbean descendants, or persons of Caribbean parentage. You didn't
Hmm.
go to the YMCA back in the day. School closed in June. A week later, you're on a plane to spend time or the summer
Yeah.
in the Caribbean, when it was Trinidad, Jamaica, St. Lucia. That
Right.
was the practice. So when I was
Hmm.
reading and they relocated
Yeah.
to Trinidad, they were relocating for safety, and their mother wanted the best for them in the story. But the flip side of that, when it happened to us, it was to reconnect with family, to be
Yeah.
safe, to learn, to eat well, to have your mangoes, to have the beach experience.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways that you could flip the story to fit as a reader what you want it to be.
Yeah. You could create your own reality within the story. Yeah.
Exactly your own reality.
Hmm.
Now we all know you're a successful songwriter. You've penned many songs and you're still penning songs, great songs. But with a
Yeah.
song, you have your verse, you have your chorus, you decide whether it's two verses and a chorus. But with a book, you have all these characters that you have to develop. And with every turn of the page, you must maintain the mannerism, the characteristics of each individual character. How
Hmm.
difficult was it for you to sort of put the songwriting pen down and pick up the book pen, the author pen, in writing an
Um,
entire book?
I think it was the same pen, just a different surface.
Mhm.
You know, because if you follow my songwriting, even when I'm writing high energy soca music back in the day,
Mhm.
there was always storyline because I can't escape it. I'm a storyteller.
Okay. Mhm.
You know, I'm a storyteller. So that was just exported, transported, however you want to put it, to a different surface now. And I started to just write the stories in my head, because if you look at a song, you know the song "Stick Fight," "When a Dead Bury My Clothes."
Yes.
When you look at that song, that's a song that could be opened up and become a full-length story, because it's all about telling the stories, and you could take a song and turn it into a story. Because really and truly, what is a song? A song is telling the story in 2 verses, a bridge and a chorus.
Right.
You have 3 minutes and 35 seconds on average to tell your whole story, to impact somebody's emotion, make them laugh, make them cry, make them feel like they're falling in love, whatever it is. But you only have 3 minutes and 35 seconds on average to do that. But It's a story. It's a story. The book allows you the time and the space, the forum to really open that up and go into details with characters and send people's mind into a different place. Almost like I'm sure you've seen I've heard where people say, "Oh, I saw the movie, but the book was better."
Right.
Because the book allows you to create your own reality,
right,
your own scene. So you might read something in a book, but the book, you create your own pictures in your head. So when you go to the movie theater, when you see the book on screen, it's like, my imagination was better.
Yes.
Yeah. So
now, I'm sure you've been performing. We say 30 years, but you've been doing this a long time. You've traveled the world, and you're still
long time.
Yeah. How important was it for you to tell this story from a Caribbean perspective?
It was important because it also represents reverse migration, because usually people come from the Caribbean and come to North America, and that's the surface on which the story is told, the platform on which the story is told. This, on the other hand, is reverse migration, where the U.S. is now going to the Caribbean, because I can't feed you guys with Auntie Ruby gone, so I don't know what to do. Usually people leave the Caribbean seeking a better life over here. So the reverse migration is now they're leaving America to seek a better life in the Caribbean. So it was very important for me to tell the story from that perspective. And it was just necessary to do it that way.
Okay. And now in the beginning of the book, reading, one of the things that caught me is that there's this special connection between you and your mother. What was the inspiration for you penning this book? And what role did your mom have in you penning this piece?
She played every role. She played every role. I'll tell you why. My mom was in the US visiting, and I was in Canada, in Toronto. And I knew that she was leaving to go back to Trinidad, but I didn't get a chance to come down to New York to see her while she was on vacation. And I didn't really want to go back to Trinidad without seeing her, because I didn't know when I was going back to Trinidad. So I jumped in my truck, spent 8 hours on the road driving, came down to New York. And when I got to the apartment where she was staying, it was all topsy-turvy. It was chaotic. It was crazy. I was like, whoa. And jokingly, I said to her, I said, "Oh, lady, don't take none of these New York mice and carry them to Trinidad, And a light bulb came on in my head. Because I'm telling her, you're packing to go back home. Your vacation is over your head and back down. But when you're going back, you have to take everything at the kitchen sink. So you're packing.
Right.
It's barrel packing, it's all kinds of packing the ship. You know the way it goes.
Right.
So I am not saying, "Oh, lady, don't let none of these New York mice end up in your suitcase and go to Trinidad." And this light bulb came on in my head. So I am still having a conversation with my mom, with one half of my brain, and the other half is working on this story, and the whole story is playing out in my head.
Right.
So by the time we bid each other goodbye and say flight and all of that, I started to work on the story, and I had actually put it down for some time. And I sent.
Approximately, what year are we talking about?
This is. I am thinking. This could be. Wow. This could be 20. This could be 2008.
Oh,
This was a,
wow.
this was a long. Here's a long time ago.
Time.
Yeah, and I put it down and then I, every now and again I'd pick it up and do some work on it, and it was just my little fun story. To be honest, it was just my fun story.
And
I
then
sent.
why now? Why now? Since
You know,
2008,
yeah,
what was that nudge that saying, Anselm, now is the time? Because we were talking prior to the interview. Your
uh-huh.
plate is more than full.
I'm sorry, my what?
I said we were talking prior to you coming on.
Yeah.
While we were setting up, and I'm not even sure where you found the time to write a book because your plate is full. It is more than full.
Right.
Why?
Well,
Why now? And how did you find the time to even sit to pen a book?
I'll tell you what. I had sent a first draft of the book, the early script. I sent it to my sister.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what get into her head years after she's going through some papers and stuff. And she said, hey, she called me and said, hey, we don't know about this thing he was working on. I said, what thing? She said, this story about spin and scratch. I said, I actually forgot about that. She said, that's a good story. I just read it again. It's a good story. You should work on it. And that was all it took. I just started to write. And then I sent it to some publishers and they said, you know what, it's too long to be a picture book and too short to be a chapter book. So we're going to have to chop it up. I said, no. Don't do that. Don't cut up my work. And I took it back and went back to the drawing board and opened it up and came up with 17 chapters and then resubmitted it and voila, book, But while I was working on that, I was still working on other books too. But this particular one just take the front and I actually finished it then. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry
So this is your first book.
My first book, yeah.
Oh, great. And then you said you're working. How many books are you currently working on? We have a technical issue. Maybe he's trying to reconnect.
Check your mic. Is your light on?
Yes.
Ask Anselm, could he hear you?
Can you hear me, Anselm?
I think he froze.
Yeah, it froze a bit.
All right, just talk.
So in case you're with us, you still have time. Call a friend. We experienced a little glitch there, but we're chatting with author, singer, songwriter, international superstar, Mr. Anselm Douglas, as he presents his book, The Adventures of Spin and Scratch: The Relocation. It's about a family of mice relocating to Trinidad and Tobago from Brooklyn, New York. It's a great read. It's a great story. You can tell it to your kids. It's a great stocking stuffer. You can give it away as a gift. Father's Day is coming up. Carnival is coming up. The carnival, the band leaders. You could stick this in somebody's bag when they pick up their
I think your screen froze.
This is Tropical Fete. And like I said earlier, we are here. We are celebrating Caribbean American Heritage Month. This is Authors Connecting. The next installment is slated for June the 8th, where we will be presenting renowned chef, Miss Nadège Florimont, and she will be interviewed by Miss Gaylene Orange. So you can always go to tropicalfete.com, social media sites, to sort of watch the interviews that you missed, or if you'd like to sort of view them again, share them with family, share them with friends, save them, discuss them with your children, read the book and have a discussion at home. That's something you can do. There are Tropical Fete. We are the home of Caribbean culture. We offer classes to the community. You're never too old. The children, we offer pan classes. We have vocal classes, stilt walking, the Moko Jambi, We have a carnival band. So there's something for you, for the entire family. You could come as individuals, you could come as an entire family. We have programs that could include mom, dad, the children. So check us out, www.tropicalfest.com. We are chatting with Anselm Douglas, and we are hoping to continue our conversation shortly. You are able to get the book authorhouse.com and check out Anselm's page. He is at www.anselmmusic.com. You could, find out what he's working on. He's currently working on books. You could purchase the books. He has a lot of new material coming out, and that is also on the site. So keep it locked. This is tropicalfest.com. We are here celebrating Caribbean American Heritage Month, and we are chatting with Caribbean superstar.
Yeah, I think his phone died, so just.
Does. So we're trying. I think Anselm is experiencing a little technical difficulty on his end. So as soon as he comes back with us, we will continue. We will continue chatting. Again, to get all the information, please go to tropicalfed.com and find out what we're doing. The interviews that have already occurred, you can feel free to check it out. Check out the sites on where you can purchase the books for your reading pleasure. The books you can purchase to be part of your collection at home. You can give them away as gifts, share them with co-workers. Don't forget, we are currently planning our summer activities, keeping our fingers crossed that as we deal with the pandemic, we are able to do more. So we have many programs coming up. If you'd like to sign up for our classes, have your children be part of the program, join our choral group, join the pan ensemble, feel free to join us. Again, it's tropicalfest.com. And we have Anselm Douglas back with us, and the conversation continues. We are discussing the adventures of Scratch and
Spin and Scratch.
Spin and Scratch, the relocation. Yeah. It's the adventures of Spin and Scratch, the relocation by Anselm Douglas. Now, you were telling us, Anselm, about some of the other books. How many books are you currently working on at present?
I am working.
Ask him to flip his camera.
Oh, okay. Now that's better.
Yeah, I'm working right now on about 4 books.
Mm-hmm.
I have about 4 books working on. 2 are being proofread right now as we speak. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 on the drawing board still that I'm still shifting and playing around with and all that stuff. So it's about 4 books I'm working on.
Okay. Now, in penning this book, The Adventures of Spin and Scratch, what was to you as the author, what was the best part about sitting down and writing this book?
I think that's an easy one. I think developing the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Just developing the characters, and as you rightly said, as you turn the page, the characters start to come to life, and you start to develop almost a kind of relationship with them. You kind of know Juice, you kind of know Pancake. Mm-hmm. You could understand Stoops and Korg, because you could. Well, you said that Mitch reminds you of Stoops. And one of the main characters that we haven't spoken about as yet is Joanne, because you realize everything is centered around Joanne.
Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne is
Joanne, because some people, when you're born in Brooklyn and they send you to Trinidad, and then the season ends and you come back the following year, the reason for going back to Trinidad
is for a Joanne.
It would be a Joanne.
Joanne. That's for sure, because
Joanne, you met on the River Lime.
Yeah, you met a summer love, right? What you call a summer love.
Exactly.
So you come back up and you talk a little bit on the phone and say you're coming back down next year, you're coming back down. So Joanne
Mhm.
Everything is kind of centered around Joanne because she's the first person, the first other mouse that they encountered.
To spot them once they landed.
Right,
And there was an
remember?
instant connection once she met them.
Yes, it was an instant connection. And of course, Ringo, her brother, is a no nonsense guy.
Mhm.
You know, so it's all about Joanne. When it really boils down, I mean, the book is about spin and scratch, but Joanne is such a main character, a lead character in it because she was the one who created a link and the friendship between Spin, who eventually became her boyfriend, and
Right.
Ringo, her brother.
My brother.
You know, yeah, because remember he told her, "I forbid you to see them."
Right.
You know, and she actually went to him and told him, "Look, you know, I really love him," and he said, "I know," and you know, he practically gave her permission to see him, and there was a bond there between he and Ringo and Spin, and you know, it was just a cool thing.
Yeah.
So it's all about Joanne.
And in Joanne's character, she's sort of that Caribbean young person. She was
Oh yeah, she going to war with you, man. She going to war with you. Yeah, she's going to fight for you. She's
exactly.
going to war with you. You know.
So that's what I'm
Remember,
saying.
she was the last person who got through the back door when they came from the rescue mission. She was the last
Right.
person who came through the back door.
Yes,
You
and
know?
she kept going back, and they were new, and they were at this location that they were trying to get used to, and then
Yeah.
she was the one going back to check on them, making sure
That they're okay and yeah.
making sure they're
Mhm.
safe, and coming up and being a part of the plan, putting herself in the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
to sort of save the brother.
It's about Joanne, man.
I love, and I'm not sure when I was done reading the book, even the bad Johns, you didn't like them too much, but then you didn't end the book hating them because you sort
Right.
of felt where how
Right.
they were the way they were and perhaps why.
Right.
And in the
These-
Joanne character, you could see where Joanne is the kind of person that she is because although the parents were not there, they were gone.
Mhm.
She had everything she needed in the brother because Joanne
Yeah,
was
because
the primary responsibility.
Right, the brother became her guardian, right? And
Right.
and he took on that role and didn't play with it. He was a no nonsense guy.
Right.
But what I know, just going off a little bit here, the way you talk about Spin and Scratch, the adventures of Spin and Scratch, the relocation, I know you're going to love the adventures of Spin and Scratch. And listen to the word, the catastrophe.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a sequel that's coming. The Adventures of Spin and Scratch, the
Okay.
catastrophe.
The thing that, the
So
way it ended, there had to be another one.
yeah, because now this is the same adventure. The adventure goes on,
Mhm.
but the name of this one is the catastrophe because I introduce a cat in this one here now.
Right.
So you know, so
Now-
you got to look forward to that one.
We are looking forward, and we are definitely going to have you back. Now you're sort of pinning these other books. You have Spin and Scratch out, but then Anselm Douglas, the performer, there's always been a balance. I remember was it last year or year before? I had the opportunity to perform in Brooklyn, and we were at I think it was Tropical Paradise. And Anselm Douglas
Yes,
came
I
on
remember
crutches.
that. Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
Anselm Douglas came on crutches and just mashed up the place on one foot. But the thing is, in the midst, you're coming to New York to perform, but you have this book thing going on the side. How difficult is it for you to sort of balance the two? Because when I listen to you sing, when I listen to you perform, from day one to today, you have not lost a beat. I think you've gotten better.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And I think that the audience, the fans that you had when you came, I don't think you ever lost those people. What has happened, I think, you've gained, but you've never lost your original,
Right.
some
The original supporters, yeah.
But when you came out, this energy came into the hall, like everybody was up. Everybody was up. So Anselm Douglas is on crutches, doing what he can, but because of your history with the fans, whatever you could not do, there was no hesitation in them doing that. So how do you sort of maintain Anselm the author and Anselm the performer?
Well, there's an old cliche that says when you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't only love what I'm doing, I am in love with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love writing, I love performing. I think one of the happiest times is when I am on stage, because I love to see people being entertained and enjoying themselves. You know, it's the whole reason for this. There's no other reason for doing this than to bring happiness and laughter. Because sometimes, you know, somebody might be in the audience and they're on their last, you know, they don't even know where to turn, but you get out there and you give them some kind of hope, some kind of happiness, make them laugh, make them smile. You don't know. You don't know whose hearts you're touching, whose lives you're touching. So I think that alone keeps the gears oiled and keep me going, so that I could find time, because it's only 24 hours in a day. No matter how you twist it, shake it, roll it, it's only 24 hours in a day. And but I'm somebody who I'm anybody who knows me know when it comes to time, I don't play with time.
Mm-hmm.
Time, you know they always say you can always make more money. You cannot make more time. Time is nothing to play with. You don't play with time. So and hate is a strong word. I hate people to waste my time.
Right.
If I tell you 4 o'clock, I will be by you for 5 to 4. Don't tell me 4 o'clock and then 20 past 4 you show up and it's like, okay, no, that's 20 minutes of my day that I can't get back. So I'm very protective of my time, because my time is important. I spend time doing stuff. I work, I write, and I think that's the balance in it. The love for what I do, the respect for time, and the respect that I have for the art and the creativity of it, you know, because this is about creating. Art is about creating. And that's how I approach it, you know.
Yeah. Now, I think for us reading this book, we, your Caribbean audience, we sort of, we get it. And the way this book was penned, it was penned in a way to ensure that we got it. So some of the lingo, the slang, you actually wrote it down for us. So, you know, what a bad John is, and we had all of that in the book. So in case you were reading and you could not pick it up from context, the reader could actually stop for a second and look it up and then go right back to reading the book. So you ensured that we got it.
Mm-hmm.
What has the response been thus far? Let's
It's been
a non-Caribbean audience, because I'm sure you have fans all over the world, and the same way they're clamoring to get their hands on your music. The book is different.
the book's been out there, and so far when I go on Amazon, I'm seeing 5 stars, which means the reviews, whatever they are, 10, 25, 30, 3,000,
right?
You know, the reviews are 100% good. Everybody loves the book. I have a young friend in Trinidad who keep asking me, Uncle Anselm, when is the part 2 coming? I said, it's almost done, but it has to be proofread. I said, there's a process. He said, so why I can't just get it before it goes to, he said, so why, he said, that's what he asked me. So why you have to send your book to proofread? I said, so you spell check. And he said, so you can't spell? I say, you know, he's not grasping it, but I say, yeah, I could spell so, but you have to make sure that when you put your book out there, it's correct. So you got to send it to other people to read and make sure that's always explained. But he can't wait for the part 2. And, you know, he's just about 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He took this book to everybody in school, you know. So I think the reviews are really good, and I'm happy for it. Really, really happy for it. And, you know, I urge the listening audience, go out there and purchase this. Go out there and get your own copy. Don't let me tell you everything about the book. You will get your own copy. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And as you said, and guys, the best way to support Anselm, the best way to support Spin and Scratch is to go out and get your copy. Getting right now, especially with the pandemic buying books, buying online has become so easy. So
Yep.
you can support him, support the book by just purchasing a copy. I was telling them while we were trying to get back to you on some,
Hmm.
there are so many avenues, so many ways that you could give somebody this book. You could give it away as a gift to co-workers. Father's
Yeah.
Day is coming up. It's a
Yeah.
great read for a father and child because it sort
Yeah.
of it conjures up this sense of nostalgia of of home, of the lady next door, because we all grew up with an auntie like that. So persons can relate. I'm saying carnival season is coming up. What a great way to pick up your costume and have one of those in your little costume bag. Because it's something actually you can hold on to and you could read after. I think it's a great gift. It's a great story. And like your family member, I'm looking forward to part two. Because when I was done, I'm like, that's not the end. Something has to happen. The wedding yet. There's a lot of things that has to come. Now, moving forward a bit, Anson,
Mhm.
the book tells a story, the book represents us well. When I saw you perform in Brooklyn, and you did such a great job, and I sort of, what I noticed most was the crowd's reaction to you. Now, you've always been successful, but you've always maintained that relationship with your fans, with the audience. And you've always given. Tell us one of the projects that you're working on now, one of the causes that you're championing. The song, Break That
Well,
Cycle. Tell us about Break That Cycle and tell us about that side of Anselm Dance.
well, Break That Cycle brings to the forefront um, this scourge we have global. It's a global pandemic. That's a pandemic too,
Right.
where domestic violence and spousal abuse has gone through the roof. When you look at the statistics, they tell you that 1 in every 4 women at some point in their life been abused, be it physically, be it verbally, be it emotionally, abused by their significant other. And that is kind of scary. I mean, you stand on the bus. Sometimes I do that, stand on the bus or stand on the sidewalk, and I'm counting people, and I'm like, 1, 2, wow, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of abused women out there who've been abused by, and I'm not talking abused by a parent now. That's a whole different ballgame. We're talking abused by your significant other, the relevant person in your life, the same person who took you on your first date and kissed you and told you good night, kissed you on your cheek and told you good night. This is the person who's punching in your head now. This is the person who's breaking your ribs and cause you to end up in the emergency room. And I got to be graphic with it because,
Right.
it's a serious issue. So you got to excuse me if I'm becoming a little too graphic about it because I'm passionate about it too. So that's something that I am very much involved in. And, I write songs about it. I put it out there. In fact, I have a song right now called Break That Cycle, as you mentioned. It's out on Bandcamp. It's on Bandcamp. And the good thing about it is it's $1 to download the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's $1 to download the song, and you could buy it as a gift for someone, because everybody who's under the sound of my voice, they know someone who has been physically abused or verbally abused, emotionally abused by someone. So this is not something that you're detached from or you're alienated from. This is right in your community. It's right next door in the apartment next door. It's across the street from you. But what happened? What we do when we hear it, we turn up our stereo because we don't want to we want to deal with that. That doesn't concern us. Even sometimes when women go to the police station, the police say, that's domestic business. We don't get involved in that, especially in places like the Caribbean. It's
Right.
only now they're becoming a little more tough on the perpetrators, and people now beginning to be arrested and charged and all that stuff. But prior to that, officers will tell you, that's domestic husband and wife businessman. We don't get involved in that. But it's a
Right.
sad thing. It's a
Right.
sad thing, and
Yeah.
we need to bring awareness to it so that we can stop it.
Right. Now, the break that cycle. Are we able to sort of get a sneak listen, a little preview of that cut?
I could try.
Okay,
I
you
could.
let us know when you're ready. If you're just joining us, welcome to Tropical Threat. We are here celebrating Caribbean American Heritage Month, and we've got with us the talented Mr. Anselm Douglas. For all things Anselm Douglas, he is all over the place. Facebook, he's on Amazon. He has www.anselmmusic.com. The book we're talking about today, The Adventures of Spin and Scratch, The Relocation. Please, please purchase a copy. It's a great read. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to laugh. I didn't expect, well, I knew it was going to be good, but I truly, truly enjoyed reading the book because I could identify with every line in this book. So you guys, you have to get it. You have to get it.
So I'm ready for you.
Okay,
Give you a
let's
little
get
taste.
that. And that's
So
a song that you also penned.
yes, I did, and it was produced by Michael Bootman,
Okay.
written by Anselm Douglas, produced by Michael Bootman. So let's take a listen. I hope the audio is good on your side.
Yes.
She shudders each time he tries to touch her face. See the tears roll down. For so long, she has been treated like this. There's still no place to run. And he tells her it's your fault. You make me do these things, but I love you in spite, and that's the reason why I'm staying. You should be glad to have someone like me. Although at times I could be wrong, but it's because I love you, can't you see? Oh girl, now go get yourself cleaned up. Oh, break that cycle, break it. Let the box come here, break that cycle, break it. Send a message loud and clear, break that cycle, break it. Let the love begin at home, break that cycle, break it. I stand with you, you're not alone. The kids, so small but hurting deep inside. They so sad and blue. It's hard, but somehow they manage to hide the pain you put them through. She's all dressed and ready, the sunglasses hide her eyes, but she's hurting immensely as she wears a painted smile. Everyone knows, but still nobody cares, that she feels so all alone. A beautiful house, but only filled with tears. A husband at her home. Oh, break that cycle, break it. Let the box come here, break that cycle, break it. Send a message loud and clear, break that cycle, break it. Let the love begin at home, break that cycle, break it. I stand with you, you're not alone. So that is a little 2 verses and chorus of Break That
Very
Cycle.
nice. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. So, we have Break the Cycle. What are some other project, some musical project that you're currently working on?
Well, I just recently got back the mixed and mastered complete album. The name of the album. I'm working on let me start from the beginning. I'm working on an adult contemporary record that I just got back. I just got back the complete mixed and mastered final version of it. It's ready. I've been working on this for a long time. It's an 11-track album, produced by a producer extraordinaire he's from Brazil. He's a Brazilian American, and produced by Sandro Albert. 9 of the songs were written by yours truly, and we had 2 cover versions to bring it to 11 tracks. So the amazing thing is I wrote so many songs for this record, but every song will not make the cut.
Right.
You know? It's because I was just in writing mode and some didn't make the cut. It's okay. It's all right. So the 11-track record is ready, and right now we're working on shopping it and doing all that we're supposed to do to get it out to the right people. Because going into the studio and recording a great album is not the difficult part. It's getting it to the 8 billion people in the world, getting them to hear it. So. And I always say the world is my market, The world is my market. So
exactly. Now I know your fans they're thirsty for Anselm Douglas material. Over the holidays, I'm not sure if this was planned, but you're a singer. And I think you were just in your home, like they say, you were chilling. And for some reason, you decided to record yourself singing "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," and it spread like wildfire. It was all over the place. So I know persons are waiting for just that album. Because the flip side of that, we know what you can do on this side of town. But I think many persons are sort of surprised when they sort of listen to your range and the control in your voice, that 30 years, whenever you open your mouth, it shows that you've been in this game for a very, very long time. And the accolades and the praises that you get are all well deserved because you sort of you work for it. You work for it. So I think there's no doubt that this is going to be a successful venture like all the others. When can we sort of look out for the album to be out there?
We don't have a release date yet because the way we have it the way we have it planned is we're working on labels right now. We're working on distribution and trying to tie up this whole distribution deal and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole process, So it's back and forth on the drawing board and trying to tie up this deal and all that kind of stuff. Based on what comes out of that, we would then know what direction we are going to go in. So give it 2 months. Give it 2 months.
Yeah, that's fine. I keep looking up. Persons are requesting that clip. So we are talking about it, but I see the phones are sort of lining up for those who have not seen it. Alton,
Hi, this is your boy Anselm Douglas, and I would like to take this opportunity to wish you and yours a Merry Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, all troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, all troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, they gather near to us once more.
That was Mr. Anselm Douglas. Now, something so simple, and it was just being thrown all over the place. Now, you're working on a lot of things. You're working on an album, you have the books. I just keep turning because I don't want to miss anything. I'm not sure if there's any proper way to prepare to interview somebody the likes of you, because you're just, all your hands is in everything.
That may not necessarily be a good thing, eh? I think you should rephrase that. You should rephrase that. My hands are not in everything.
You're very talented, and you're spreading your talent all over the place. You're an
Okay. All right.
Now the thing is, I know persons are currently planning, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that the worst part of this pandemic is over. Can we look forward to seeing Anselm on the stage in this part, in the tri-state area, New York, Canada, Trinidad, St. Lucia? Do you have things in the works?
I am looking so forward to getting back on stage and doing what I love and meeting my fans and entertaining them in a real way, because during the pandemic we do some virtual concerts, and it's really just to keep your fan base alive and keep them entertained and let them know you're still there for them. But there's nothing like being right up front, right up front where you could give one of your audience a little bounce and, sweat dripping and you're performing, you're working, So I am so excited and ready and waiting for things to open back up. And gradually we're seeing it happening. We're seeing the numbers, the amount of people hospitalized dropping. We've seen the death rates dropping and dropping tremendously. So I am saying, yay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Anselm, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. We'll be watching you. Tropical Fete is your home, so please keep us informed of everything that's going on. We would love to assist you in spreading the word. Thank you for the gift of this great book, The Adventures of Spin and Scratch, the Relocation. And I know some persons, they love the hard copy. But one thing I failed to mention, there's an electronic version of the book as well. So you don't have to have the hard copy. If it's easier for you, you enjoy the Kindle version, by all means, purchase an electronic version and you can have it right away. The book, again, is available on Amazon. It's available at Barnes & Nobles. And it is also available at authorhouse.com. Again, we thank you very much. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us. I know you're very busy, so we appreciate it so very much.
The pleasure was all mine. I looked forward to this. And I have to apologize about my little technical glitch that we had earlier on. But the pleasure was all mine. And I thank you so very much. And you're so good for my ego.
Yes. Oh, and one thing we forget to mention, you also are a host. I forget to mention Coffee Talk. Tell us a little bit about Coffee Talk before you go. You see what I'm talking about? Then you tell me. There's a lot going on. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Coffee Talk is it's a Instagram show. I like to call it a show. It happens every last Saturday of every month. The last Saturday of every month from 12 till, we started from 12 to 1, but now I'm seeing we going up to 1:45 and all that. And, and what we do, we just started to have a celebrity guest come on also. And we talk about some really hot topics, so you can check us out. It's the name of the show is actually Coffee Talk with Anselm and Winnie. Anselm and Winnie. My Instagram handle is at Anselm Douglas 64, and Winnie's is at I Dream of Winnie 1303. You can check us out. You trust me, you will not regret it. It's a bundle of fun. It's sometimes get controversial, because we discuss all sorts of topics. In fact, last Saturday, our topic was who do you think should be the head of the home, the man, the woman, or who makes the most money? And it was so much fun, you know. So hey, check us out on Instagram at Anselm Douglas 63 and at I Dream of Winnie 1303. I Dream of Winnie 1303. Coffee Talk with Anselm and Winnie. Yeah.
Great. So
She is singer extraordinaire. She is an amazing talent when it comes to jazz music in Trinidad and around the Caribbean, and by extension, I think worldwide. You've been performing everywhere. You have you've had a scholarship to Berkeley. You performed with. I've seen you perform a lot of times in Trinidad. And I know you've been in so many different jazz festivals. And I have to say this as an entertainer myself, I always stand and look at you and how you do it with such grace and such ease. You look so comfortable doing what you do. You look happy doing what you do. And when you do that, you make me happy. So please welcome everybody, Vaughn.
Yay! Ronette Bigford! I should make Anselm a publicist. I should make him a publicist.
I think we made some serious progress since we last spoke. Thing in the pot, fish, a nice fish head and thing in the pot. My okra is frozen okra, but we're gonna really eat that still like it. How we looking there? Like a champion. I'm ready for house, you know. I put in this. Yeah. I put a little pinch of salt. He's still good. He's still good. We're looking like we know what we do. Fish puff done, you know. See what we're working with there?
okay. So Anselm again, thank you. No, don't worry. Next time the interview will be by you, fish broth on you.
Not a problem at all. I look forward to it.
The Caribbean in me, I come in with my takeaway bowl because I need for the next day.
I look forward to it, man.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. Good luck with everything. And we'll
Thank
be
you very
working,
much.
and we enjoyed the time together with you.
I did enjoy the time, and I hope we could do this again sometime in the near future, especially when my new book comes out. All right?
Great. Looking forward to it.
God bless, and to God.
Look at him. No lado, yeah. Boy. No lado, yeah. No lado. Listen. Well, as I walk through the gate and the jam ticket, may I stumble and she. I'm not a man who need to rock somebody when she pop up and needed one immediately. So, Mr. Barman, you may have called you listen us to drink or something, barman. I see a girl that I love more than crab and dumpling, oh. And plus I love how she whining, oh. And plus I love how she whining, oh. I wanna go tell her something, but feel my belly of it boiling. She too sweet, like I go give me cavities and I keep diabetes. She too sweet, oh Lord. But then I want to get she tonight. Cause first I love how she whining, oh. And plus I love how she grinding, oh. Like I go putting me in trouble with that cute little ring on she neighbor. She too sweet. Oh, get dog. Oh, lad. Listen. Well, as I walk through the crowd and the music get loud, like the drink started walking, I feel adrenaline build as I move to the kill, my blood pressure rising. No little talking, because the music so loud, it's sign language I use and smiling. She white teeth and she dimples, so just let her join in, oh. And plus I love how she whining, oh. And plus I love how she grinding, oh. I wanna go tell her something, but feel my belly of it boiling. She too sweet, like I go give me cavities and I keep diabetes. She too sweet, oh Lord. But then I bound to get she tonight. Cause plus I love how she whining, oh. And plus I love how she grinding, oh. I wanna go tell her something, but feel my belly of it boiling. She too sweet. No, yeah, no, yeah, no. No,